As always, Harry's relationship with his family remains deeply strained and extremely tense. William and Charles have now reached a point where they no longer want to meet with him privately, because they're genuinely afraid that anything said behind closed doors could end up in a book or in a documentary. January 2026, cameras everywhere. The whole world watching. Catherine and William walk into that hospital in West London, and immediately, something feels different. The way they move, the way people look at them, the atmosphere in the room. This isn't just another routine royal visit. This is the future King and Queen of England showing up as if the throne already belongs to them. And palace sources are whispering something that has royal watchers completely losing it. This visit to Charing Cross Hospital marked the very first time William and Catherine appeared in public fully acting in their future roles as monarch and consort, not pretending, not rehearsing, but actually operating with the authority and presence of a king and queen. Insiders say preparations have shifted into overdrive. King Charles himself has reportedly granted them new powers. Powers no prince and princess of Wales have held for more than a century. Powers that, in practice, allow them to function as co-monarchs in everything except the title. And the timing. That's what has everyone asking questions. Is Charles getting ready for something? Is his condition worse than we're being told? Because handing your heir this level of authority while you're still alive and working, that's not standard royal procedure. That's succession planning happening in real time. So buckle up, because what's unfolding could reshape the British monarchy far sooner than anyone expected. King Charles has now broken his silence about what he called his frightening experience with cancer. Diagnosed with an unspecified form of the disease in February last year, the monarch has finally spoken publicly about his battle while hosting a reception for the cancer community at Buckingham Palace alongside Queen Camilla. Now, let me walk you through this hospital visit, because the details matter. The 9th of January 2026. William and Catherine arrive at Charing Cross Hospital without any warning at all. Staff weren't told. Patients had no idea. This wasn't some carefully choreographed photo opportunity with advance notice and security sweeps. They simply walked in like they owned the place. And this is what really stood out. The way William spoke to staff, the confidence, the authority. He talked openly about Catherine's cancer journey, his work with the air ambulance service, connecting with healthcare workers in a way that felt less like a future king and more like a reigning monarch looking after his people. Catherine spent time with a volunteer who works with chemotherapy patients. She listened to stories about people sitting for hours receiving treatment. This is a woman who went through her own cancer battle just 12 months ago, now using that experience to connect with others who are living through it. And according to Tom Sykes, there's been a price to pay for King Charles' early transparency about his illness. Sources present that day said the energy was unlike anything they'd experienced during a royal visit before. One staff member reportedly told friends that William and Catherine felt like they already were king and queen, not preparing for it, not practicing, actually living it. They spoke with NHS workers during their tea break, asked about the pressures of the winter season, talked about how charities help ease the strain on the system. Every interaction carried weight, real authority. The kind you can't manufacture. Word circulating inside palace circles is that Charles personally requested this visit. He wanted them out there, showing the country what the future looks like. Because at 77, after a year of cancer treatment himself, Charles knows time is moving, and he's making absolutely sure William and Catherine are ready. The king was recently hospitalized after undergoing a procedure for benign prostate enlargement, also known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. Further tests revealed cancer, which he's currently being treated for, though it is not prostate cancer, the most common cancer in men. Now let's talk about what's happening behind the scenes, because this is where things get really interesting. By spring 2026, just months from now, William and Catherine are set to officially become grantors of royal warrants. And if you know what that means, it means they'll have the power to officially endorse brands and businesses with the royal seal of approval. This isn't some symbolic ceremonial fluff. Royal warrants are serious business in the UK. When the palace puts its stamp on your product, that's instant credibility. Sales explode. Your brand becomes part of royal history. Companies spend millions chasing that kind of recognition. And here's the twist. Traditionally, only the reigning monarch and their spouse can grant these warrants. Right now, that power belongs to Charles and Camilla. No one else. Heirs don't get this authority while the king is still alive. That's never been how it works. Not ever. He may still chair Privy Council meetings, still receive his red boxes, but he's no longer out in public the way he used to be, and being seen is a huge part of being monarch. As the late Queen used to say, you have to be seen to be believed, except now that line has been crossed. Because Charles broke protocol and handed William and Catherine powers they technically shouldn't have yet. Powers that effectively turn them into co-monarchs in the public and commercial world. So the obvious question is, why? Sources close to the situation say Charles wants a seamless transition. He wants the public already used to seeing William and Catherine operate at monarch level before succession actually happens. It's smart strategy, but it also sends a signal that Charles believes succession could come sooner than anyone expects. Catherine is set to become the first Princess of Wales in 116 years to grant royal warrants. The last woman to do it was Queen Mary in 1910, right before her husband became King George V. See the pattern. Woman gets the power, and not long after, she's queen. History repeating itself in real time. And here's what drives me crazy about how the media covered that hospital visit. Everyone obsessed over the handshakes and the smiles and the sweet moments. Hardly anyone listened to what William actually said, and his words tell you everything about where his mind is. William's clearly been stung by the criticism coming from his brother and sister-in-law, especially after the Oprah interview, and for once, he decided not to stay silent. He spoke about the bond between patient and carer, calling it heartwarming, saying it's vital that we recognize and value what happens inside the NHS. That's king talk. That's not just a polite parent saying something nice. That's a man speaking as if he already carries responsibility for these people's well-being. He tied in his air ambulance work and Catherine's recent health struggles, explaining why this visit mattered, weaving a story of shared hardship and shared humanity. That's what monarchs do. They build connection with their people through common experience. And Catherine backed him up flawlessly. She told staff the work they do is incredible, that it genuinely changes patients' lives. Simple words, but delivered with the confidence of someone who knows her voice already carries the weight of the crown. The staff loved it. You could see it in their reactions, in the way they looked at William and Catherine, not as future king and queen someday, but as their king and queen right now, and that shift in perception. That's exactly what the palace wants. That's the whole purpose of these appearances. Let me break down what's really happening here, because none of this is accidental. Every move is deliberate, every appearance designed for maximum effect. 2025 was brutal for the royal family. Charles fighting cancer, Catherine fighting cancer. The succession question hanging over everything. The public wondering if the monarchy could survive another transition, and whether William and Catherine were ready. So what does the palace do? They speed things up. They hand William and Catherine real authority. They send them out in public operating at monarch level. They show the country what the future looks like, while Charles is still alive and working. So the transition feels smooth instead of shocking. Royal expert Hilary Ford told the media that William and Catherine have been preparing for leadership roles on an accelerated schedule. Accelerated, that word matters. It means faster than normal. It means the timeline changed. Insiders say Charles wants the succession plan locked in before his health potentially worsens. He wants William and Catherine so deeply embedded in the role that when the transition comes, it feels natural, like they've already been doing the job for years. And judging by public reaction, it's working. Yeah, he definitely set the tone. You can feel it. There's this sense that when he finally takes the throne, things are going to be different. And what stood out to me was the strength he showed when he mentioned it more than once. Sitting down, having a pint, talking about change. The polls back it up too. William and Catherine are the most popular royals. People want them on the throne. They're young, they're relatable, they feel modern. Catherine survived cancer and came back stronger. William speaks openly about mental health and climate change. They look like the monarchy built for this generation. So the palace is giving the public exactly that, pushing William and Catherine further into the spotlight, letting them operate more and more like king and queen in everything except name, and the reaction tells them it's working. But here's what most people miss about Catherine's cancer battle. It didn't just impact her health, it completely changed how the public views her. It changed how William sees their role, and it reshaped how the entire succession plan is unfolding. She went through chemotherapy, took months away from public duties, returned in remission in January 2025. That's barely a year ago, and now she's back doing hospital visits, hosting rugby receptions, filling her schedule again with engagements. But she's doing it differently. Sources say she's more selective now, focused on meaningful work, building in time for her family. Not the old routine of turning up everywhere just to tick royal boxes. Now, every appearance has intention. Every visit has purpose. And that cancer journey gave her something no one else in the royal family has: credibility. She knows what it's like to sit in those hospital chairs, to go through treatment to wonder if you'll be okay. So when she speaks to cancer patients, it's not a wealthy royal offering polite sympathy. It's someone who's lived it talking to people who are living it right now. That kind of authenticity is priceless for the monarchy, because the biggest criticism the royals face is being out of touch, not understanding what normal people go through. Catherine just proved she's not shielded from the same health battles as everyone else, and she came through it with grace and dignity. That's queen material. And William watched his wife fight cancer while his father was battling cancer at the same time. That's a lot for one man to carry. It changes you. People close to William say it made him more determined to use his position for something meaningful. It made him realize life is short, and change has to happen now, not someday when he eventually becomes king. That's why you're seeing him step up, take on more responsibility, speak with more authority. He's not waiting anymore. He's acting like the king he knows he's about to become. Now let me explain why this royal warrants thing is such a big deal, because most people don't really get it. This isn't just about approving luxury brands. It's about economic power, about shaping British business, about deciding which companies get the royal blessing and which don't. When Catherine gives a fashion brand a royal warrant, that company will explode. The Kate effect is already the strongest force in UK fashion. Anything she wears sells out instantly. Now imagine that influence backed by official royal approval. That's market, moving power. And it's not limited to clothes. Royal warrants cover everything: food suppliers, technology firms, manufacturers. William and Catherine will be able to influence what products people trust, which businesses grow, which industries get royal backing. Sources say they plan to use that power carefully, prioritizing British craftsmanship, sustainable companies, and businesses that contribute to social good, not just handing out approval to whoever pays the most or looks the fanciest. Yeah. And she said, I'm a big fan. I'm so excited you follow me. All of that was about 3 years ago. Anyway, I replied, and we went back and forth for a bit. But Catherine has already proven this strategy works. Her September 2025 visit to Heritage Mills, highlighting British textile craftsmanship, generated massive media attention and reignited interest in local manufacturing. Now imagine that same impact, but backed by an official royal warrant. That's where it gets smart. By building this reputation now, while they're still prince and princess, they lock in credibility before they ever become king and queen. So when succession happens, people already trust their judgment. They already see them as leaders worth following. Royal expert Giovanna told The Times something that really stuck with me. She said, Catherine will be a queen who truly listens, who leans in, who knows what's happening. Not just a ceremonial figure going through the motions, and that listening part matters. Because modern monarchy depends on it. People don't want distant royals hidden away in castles. They want connection. They want to feel heard. Catherine has shown she can do that. The way she talks to people, especially children and families, shows genuine curiosity about their lives. Giovanna also said William and Catherine are entering their future roles with their eyes wide open. They understand what needs to change. They know the monarchy has to evolve or it fades away, and they're ready to push that evolution forward. Another royal expert, author Robert Jobson, said Catherine's diary is already filling up for 2026, but she won't return to her old pace. Cancer taught her that lesson. Family and health come first. Everything else is built around that. And that honesty is refreshing. You don't usually hear royals admit that the old way nearly broke them. That protecting her health is essential if she's going to be effective. That's modern queen thinking, and the public loves it. They see Catherine being open about her limits, about needing balance, about putting her children first. That's relatable. That's human. That's why people connect with her as a future queen. Now, here's something that's not being talked about enough. Prince George, he's 12 now, turning 13 this summer, and he's being prepared for kingship faster than any heir in modern history. He appeared at the V-Day tea party with his parents, showing maturity and empathy well beyond his years. Experts say he's already learning the royal ropes from William and Catherine, quietly being shaped for his future role as king. There's also something a bit sad in all of this for Charles. He waited his entire life to become monarch. He never pushed for it. He carried himself with dignity the whole way, despite what that Netflix series tried to suggest. But here's the strategic part. By bringing George into the public eye more, by letting people watch him grow into the role, the palace is securing 3 generations of succession. Charles, then William and Catherine. Then George, the monarchy's future mapped out for decades. Sources say George will attend the World Cup in the United States in summer 2026, with his family a major international trip, a high-profile stage, another step in his preparation, and another opportunity for William and Catherine to appear on the world stage acting like king and queen in everything but name. So why is all of this happening in January 2026? Why the sudden acceleration? Why the new powers? Why the monarch? Level appearances? When you connect the dots, it starts to make sense. Charles is 77. He had cancer in 2025. He's still working hard. 535 engagements last year alone. But he knows time isn't on his side. He knows transition is coming. And by giving William and Catherine this authority now, by letting them operate at this level already, Charles is making sure the succession, whenever it happens, is smooth, controlled, and drama-free. Whether that moment comes 5 years from now or 5 months from now, the groundwork is already laid. The public is prepared. The transition won't feel shocking. It'll feel natural, and think about what that says to the rest of the world. Britain is showing that its monarchy doesn't fade out with an aging king. It has young, energetic, ready-made leaders waiting in the wings. William and Catherine represent modern Britain, progressive in outlook, connected to younger generations, forward-thinking in how they see the world. People say it was good that Charles announced his cancer diagnosis. But here's something worth pointing out. That announcement wasn't the original plan. At first, he'd only been diagnosed with a benign prostate condition. The cancer revelation came later. Now, here's where things go next. Spring 2026, William and Catherine officially become grantors of royal warrants. That's the formal handover of power. The moment they stop being just heirs and start operating as co-monarchs in real terms. Then, summer brings the World Cup trip to the United States, a global stage, a massive international audience, a perfect opportunity to show the world what the future British monarchy looks like. And make no mistake, they'll be functioning as king and queen in everything but the title. All year long, expect more of it, more confident public appearances, more moments where William and Catherine step forward with full monarch-level authority, more visible preparation for a succession that could arrive at any time. The king, who was briefly hospitalized last month during his ongoing treatment, recently said that while every new diagnosis can be daunting and sometimes frightening, it can also be an experience that brings into sharp focus the very best of humanity. And the public is ready. Polls show overwhelming support. People want them on the throne. They want the change they symbolize. They want the fresh energy they bring. Charles is making sure that when his time comes, nothing is rushed, that William and Catherine aren't scrambling to learn how to be king and queen. They'll already be doing it. They'll already have public trust. They'll already have the confidence and experience. And that's what that hospital visit really was, not just a friendly appearance for the NHS. It was the future king and queen of Britain showing the country exactly what's coming next.